Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Right, I think we're all set. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 450 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's KB and Matt coming at you from Underground Studios. Got a lot to dive into regarding most of the teams that you guys and we love to root for. But before we get started, make sure you're following us on the socials at Underground PHI on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI, Twitch.tv/UndergroundSportsPHI is where right now you can watch every single Wednesday night live show with myself and Matt. Follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Castorina. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com, for all of our written content. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there, and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It really helps the show grow and helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. You get full video episodes of all of your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia shows. And, of course, original content as well. Hit that like button, click the bell icon, and comment down below your thoughts on everything we're going to be talking about tonight and in future episodes as well. Big thank you to our sponsors who make this show happen: Main Auto LLC, Ducharme's Pro Foot, Security 21 Security Systems, Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated, Mark Ronchetti CPA LLC, and the Dental Wellness Center of Vineland. Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. You got to look summertime fine out there with your Tomahawk Shades. Go to tomahawkshades.com to get your sunglasses, blue light glasses, prescription lenses for both of those things, and everything in between at tomahawkshades.com, and use code USP at checkout. You get 25% off your entire order at tomahawkshades.com. That's tomahawkshades.com, promo code USP for 25% off your entire order from our pals over at Tomahawk Shades. Kenwood Beer. Go to kenwoodbeer.com and use that all new and improved Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. And Bino Board. It is the biggest, next big tabletop game for your man cave, your she shed, tailgates, all that good stuff. Bino Board is what you should have on deck. Go to binoboard.com. That's BINHOBOARD.com. Get your boards, accessories, merchandise, all that good stuff at binoboard.com, and use code BINOUSP for 10% off your order at binoboard.com. What's going on, Matt?
Living the dream.
As are the Philadelphia Phillies, as they take 2 out of 3 from the Atlanta Braves after getting embarrassingly swept
Fever dream
by the Chicago Cubs. And they're right back in it, in the wild card once again. As the trade deadline looms, we are ever so close, about 5 days away from the big day for Dave Dombrowski and company. Don't know what they're going to do, as the past few trade deadlines have been underwhelming, to say the least, but with them right back in it, actually in a playoff spot going into the trade deadline with 4 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates on deck. Can't take it for granted, though, because you just got swept by the Cubs, but looking pretty okay going into the trade deadline, I would say.
It's like the total Phillies experience in that you get swept by the Cubs, have this, like, blow-up media sensation nonsense discussion for, like, 2 days, and then, like, handle the Braves.
Yeah, no big deal.
It's so stupid. We had said in the 10 coming out of the All-Star break, if they could go 6-4, that's kind of like where they should be at. I did not account for them getting swept by the Cubs in that prediction, but they could still do that if they sweep the Pirates. They're at least doing that, but it's the Cubs series is especially frustrating just because, like, those are the types of series that the Phillies really haven't been losing since they fired Joe Girardi, and I mean, frankly, few of those games were not even competitive.
Yes.
That first one, too, was like, I mean, why even show up?
Don't know why Bailey Falter's still on this team.
Well, that's, you know what? That's a great question. I think you have to refer back to the Phillies' decision making in like December of last year.
Very true.
For why for why we're relying on a lot of these guys still. But the offense is still like sputtering at times. There's guys on this team that are not playing at a major league level offensively, and that's very frustrating. And I just think you're seeing a little bit of what you should have expected when you lose Bryce and when you've lost Gene now. Both of them hopefully back within the
Gene
next.
possibly back next week.
Yeah, Gene's he's with the Iron Pigs now, right?
Yeah.
And Bryce, they said he's not getting the pins out in his thumb. Not that it was a setback or anything, but that
They're reevaluating
it maybe next week. But again, that's a guy. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks you see Bryce back. So, man, it's just brutal. It's brutal that like guys aren't carrying the team right now that maybe you would hope that they did. And it's so strange because the Phillies have won in a lot of different ways this year. Which is why I think they can be so dangerous. Like we've seen this team have like, for all their faults and for how much we've complained about it, they've had elite pitching moments. Like right before the All-Star break, like this team was like dealing, and it was just like great. And they weren't scoring very many runs. But they were just dominating teams pitching wise, and we're even having good bullpen performances. So we need the other end of that stick to be carried. But that's been like the Phillies narrative for the last few seasons. It seems like we can never get both at the same time for more than a series or two where everything is clicking. And I think that's the frustrating part now. But it was a good series against the Braves at least. Like if you're gonna win one of those series, it's probably better to beat up on the Braves if you can, but make up some ground at least. But it's still super frustrating.
Shout out to Sports Talk ATL who tweeted a couple days ago, "Can't wait to sweep the Phillies."
Divisional rivals just gotta. Well, actually, they should keep doing it, but they just gotta learn from the Nationals that you just don't do that. You're asking for it when you do that. You're taking your life in your own hands,
big time. One person that is carrying this team is our boy, Alec Boehm, on a 12-game hitting streak.
Braves killer, by the way, because
he's
killer. I mean, he is
destroyer
really,
of worlds.
For all like the Freddie Freeman years and shit. Like, I'm glad we have. We have our version now.
Yeah, especially since the Braves have, Freddie Freeman 2.0 with fucking Matt Olson, who has 5 home runs at Citizens Bank Park in 10 games this year.
So stupid. It's something about that position. I think that
But Alec Boehm is hitting the cover off the ball.
I think he has the most multi-hit games
on the team
team this year, which is. I don't know that if you would ask me that question without knowing the answer that I would have gotten that correct, to be honest. I think it's been a little under the radar with Boehm this season, which is refreshing.
Playing elite defense today as well.
Yeah, he's, again, I think in some ways quietly had a pretty nice year, and I think it's a lot of the progression that we want to see from Alec Boehm. It was everything so far that you've wanted to see out of him, you've gotten for the most part.
It's one of those things, Matt, where it just feels good to be right.
Being on the right side of history, we're not right all the time, but when you're right, you're right. Like
sometimes we know how to nail it.
Right.
And right now, we're doing pretty well with Alec Boehm and Bryson Stott.
Yeah, Bryson Stott too. Like, it's come up with some big moments. Could definitely be better.
For sure. But I like that they're letting him work through the struggles.
The thing is he's not much worse than Didi. And he has the advantage of being like a decade younger.
And he actually hits home runs and gets on base, which helps.
That's the big thing, too, is no one on the Phillies gets on base.
Yes.
Like, we have a lot of home runs. I honestly wonder if we lead the league in solo home runs. Because I think we might. It's so frustrating the way the Phillies offense goes sometimes.
Yeah. Letting the kids play has worked really well. Today was like Kids Day at Citizens Bank Park as well, and they showed a graphic on NBC Sports Philadelphia of like everybody in the starting lineup's favorite player growing up. And I don't know if you saw this, but I want you to take a wild guess at who you think number 37 said.
Oh, I did see this. Jose Reyes?
Yep.
Bad news bears.
Just terrible. And I don't know if Didi is currently enrolled in the Bryce Harper School for Pandering 101, but he said Jimmy Rollins.
He just loves that real infield defense. Who was that? There's 2 people that said Derek Jeter. I think Bohm was one of them.
Let's see.
Gotta get him off. Get him off the squad because that is not okay. Not okay. I'm trying to find and see if I can get the solo home run stat. You'd think baseball and all the nonsense, all the dumb stats that they have, like the curve score and whatever.
It was Bryson Stott and Alec Bohm.
God damn it.
Kyle Schwarber said Jason LaRue. Reese Hoskins said Barry Bonds. JT said Mike Piazza. Derek Hall said Ken Griffey Jr. Castellano said Gary Sheffield. And then Stott and Bohm said Derek Jeter. Didi said Jimmy Rollins. And then number 37 said Jose Reyes.
You don't like to see that.
No. But hey, Phils take 2 out of 3 from the Braves, and that's what matters. We've said all year, win the divisional games. Win the divisional games, and that's what matters. They're currently 7 games back of the Braves for second place, but they're 51-47. Currently, the final wild card spot based off head-to-head matchup with the St. Louis Cardinals, who could fall off a little bit going into next week, Matt, because they won't have Paul Goldschmidt or Nolan Arenado in Toronto. The Bozo Brigade gets larger across the league.
Those are 2 well-paid bozos as well.
Highly paid MVP caliber bozos.
Let's go Blue Jays,
I mean, I don't know what to expect at this trade deadline.
No one does. I think that's the beauty of it.
And that's league-wide.
Right. I think the only consensus things is that Montas and probably a Reds pitcher are going to be dealt. And outside of that, maybe Juan Soto as well. That's kind of it. Those seem to be the seems more certain than not category.
Seems like Jose Quintana might get traded, who the Phillies, I think, will see this week.
Yeah, maybe just hop on the bus.
Just come back to Eastern Pennsylvania. And it looks like Andrew Benintendi is going to get traded as well from the Royals.
And apparently the Yankees are in on it, which I find
very strange.
Strange, but also like,
where's he going to play?
Where's he going to play? But also, we know that he's not waxed and vaxxed, so it's not unlikely that you have to go to Toronto, maybe even for a playoff series.
Do the Yankees play Toronto anymore? That's the question.
I would be shocked if they got all their series out of the way against them.
Credit to the Yankees, though. Going into the season, not everybody was vaxxed and waxed, and somehow, some way, going into Toronto, their first series, everybody got on board.
Which is shocking because they had some holdouts for sure. Yeah, they
Yes.
still have a 4-game series in like mid-August.
In New York.
Oh, that's in New York.
They have 3 in September
September.
in Toronto, towards the end of the year, which could be meaningful in that AL East.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would definitely be more meaningful for the Jays.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees are kind of cruising to that division, the way it looks. But damn, man, is the AL East going to end up somehow with 3 playoff teams, and it's going to be the Orioles rather than the Red Sox? Because that would actually be hilarious. That'd be really, really funny.
Yeah, that's
the
another
way
team
that's
that just went on a tear and now are in wild card positioning, and a team that won't sell players.
And what's super cool too is the Orioles have I think of the top 20 prospects, they have 18 of them. I think they have
had the number 1 pick.
I think they have 4 of the top 50 prospects, which is stupid. I think 2 of them are within the top 10, which is dumb.
Just signed Matt Holliday's son today.
Baltimore has 3 great years followed by 9 awful ones, but those 3 years are so fun.
Oh yeah.
They're such a ride.
When Chris Davis knew how to hit a baseball, Adam Jones was elite.
Oh,
Manny
my
Machado was still super young. Unreal.
It is what it is.
Do they sweep the Pirates, Matt?
I sure hope so. They should.
They should.
They're bad. They're a bad enough team, but it's not like the Cubs are the Yankees,
right?
It's this team has been less Heckle and Hyde. Jeez,
that's what they have been.
Yeah, they've been less Jekyll and Hyde. I'll say for most of the summer, But they showed us they still have that streak in them. They still have that in them. I think 3 out of the 4 has to be the expectation at the very least. But
I don't know if we have pitching matchups yet for the Pittsburgh series. So tomorrow will be Zach Wheeler. Mm-hmm. Friday will be Jose Quintana versus Bailey Falter. Hopefully Dave just trades for Quintana and he's pitching for us instead. Then on Saturday Friday is Ranger Suarez, it looks like.
Mine it says Falter.
Falter is Friday. Saturday is Ranger Suarez.
Saturday for me is unlisted still.
Yeah, right now it's saying Saturday Ranger Suarez versus Keller for the Pirates, and then Sunday is Aaron Nola.
All right. Well, 3 of the 4 is definitely doable.
Yes.
With that pitching.
Pirates are not good, guys. Go beat them. I just can't take another trade deadline where they just go in and get like beyond mediocre talent.
Yeah, I don't know what like margin moves they would even make this year because I think the tradable assets that they have are perhaps too valuable to just get you like poo-poo platter stuff. I think anyone they acquire is going to be a little more pricey if they do acquire anyone. I would be kind of surprised if the Phillies don't make a move though, because they're tangibly like in the playoffs now. You know, like I think you have to make that push.
This has been their last 3 trade deadlines. They got Jason Vargas and Morin in 2019. The infamous Heath Hembree, David Phelps, Brandon Workman acquisitions in 2020, and then Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy in 2021. This coming from, I would assume, The Athletic, since it is quoting that guy Matt Gelb, who's been in the news lately.
Really? What for? I haven't. It's weird. I haven't been up on that. Anything interesting happen over the weekend with the Phillies? Any
videos shared?
Any doctored videos shared? Not showing full context.
Anyone not having?
Was there like I'm just spitballing here? Was there like maybe someone calling another reporter disgrace?
Having no standing at Citizens Bank Park. Someone who's also not a reporter, but a TV anchor.
I mean, just unreal stuff. I think everyone in that situation, what they needed? They needed those giant blue like ice tanks that they make for like NFL players during training camp. Like they're just like garbage cans filled with like ice water. Everyone just needed to cool down.
Yes.
Like everyone, it was a really rough like last week and a half. It was like 97 every day. And everyone gets testy during those times, and I think.
Did you hear the booze, Matt?
It's a stupid question.
I personally lost my hearing.
Which, by the way,
phenomenal response.
like, come on, that's funny. That's a funny response.
So good, so good. Fully on board though. We are Team Castellanos and Team Jamie Apodi in that situation.
I think everyone like could do better in that situation. Yeah. I can't claim enough knowledge to say like this person's wrong because of this. I do think it's probably not great to share a video edited in the way that it did, especially the first video that was shared. Definitely made Castellanos look the more aggressive person, and I don't think that's good. I think that's really harmful because that sets the standard for a lot of people. It's like, this guy sucks, overpaid, he's such a crybaby, all this stuff, and it's like you watch the full video, and he doesn't look amazing in it, but it certainly is, I think, a better. And I think it also gives you way more context for the situation, and that it also seemed like way more of an off-record thing from like what other beat reporters said, that it was everyone kind of like wasn't even going to report on that because it wasn't even considered part of an actual interview. Like it was just, and if that video doesn't get shared, this never even gets talked about. But of course, it becomes a flashpoint. Of course, because it was a bad series that the team got swept.
Your 2022 Phillies yearbook.
And Castellanos has been underwhelming this season. I think it's not news either.
No.
It's not news that he's been underwhelming, but it's also, the reporters have to ask questions. I think Salisbury was trying to give him like the opportunity to just like, hey, what's going on? Like, are you give him it was to me it was a softball question that gets asked a lot of players that are struggling across any sport. Where it's like, yeah, I'm just not doing this right. Whatever. You just give them just that opportunity to explain their feelings. It's really not an unheard of question to ask a player. He clearly, was not in the mood to discuss it.
I mean, to ask something like that, like you said, in the heat, Phillies just got swept. He's been struggling all year.
Right.
You knew what you were walking into if you're Jim Salisbury asking that.
Jim Salisbury knows he's a veteran reporter. He's not.
And then for him to lower his mask and look like he was gonna try to flinch at him was kind of a poor look.
Okay, so the interview aside, all that, whatever. I think in the heat of the moment, people can react in a way they don't mean. What I really thought was just poor showing. You just be better at this. Come on, you don't have to do this. Is Jim Salisbury quote tweeting stuff saying that he's a crybaby and all this.
Yeah.
And, what good is that doing?
Nothing.
In the heat of the moment, you ask a question, you both you're both grown men. You can say things and then you can talk about it later and apologize. And I'm sure that maybe that's even happened, but to me, to go on Twitter afterwards and be laying into the guy just seems lame.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. It just seems unnecessary. Who is that helping and serving?
Nobody.
It makes you look worse and it doesn't help the player. And
Right.
It's I don't, because now it makes you really do look like you have some kind of agenda or something, and it's not just he didn't like the question I asked. We disagreed. We both let it kind of get away from us. We'll be better. We talked about it. And instead you go and say that stuff. And it's just
now he's really not going to want to talk to you.
Yeah. I think it's lame. I think it's a,
and he's not going, Castellanos isn't going anywhere. He's got a no trade clause. He's here for the next 4 seasons after this. And I think a lot of people put it in a good perspective too. As somebody who's been in press conferences myself, if Jim Salisbury, just for an example, since he's involved in this, was off the Phillies beat tomorrow, the Phillies beat's going to continue to roll on.
Right.
It's going to be, gone in the wind. But Castellanos is going to be there. The team's going to be there. Fans don't really give two shits in the grand scheme of, the questions that are being asked.
Right.
They're going to go and look for the fan perspective. They're going to go and look for, the quick hit videos like we saw. They don't want the in-depth, kind of stuff because people's attention spans have evolved or, devolved over the past 20 years from what traditional journalism is to wanting a more visual aspect on things.
It's when editors make a headline intentionally
to get clicks.
Abrasive or just viral. No, because they know that people, I don't even know what the stat is, but I would have to imagine 80 because we all do it too. We've all looked at articles and just read the headline and formed an opinion already. And I've never even read the article, and then and you haven't actually gone in and even read what the headline is talking about. And it's that kind of thing where I think we all contribute to it and don't want to admit that we do.
Yeah.
To the short, quick, viral stuff and it's how people complain all the time about the unnecessary drama in sports and all the rumors and stuff, but yet that is consistently the most engaged with content. Clickbait stuff is consistently the most engaged with content for a reason because it drives people's interest. People don't want to hear in-depth analytic discussion most of the time. There is people that want to hear that for sure, but if you're talking about turning whatever it is into money, into getting eyes on it, it's just people like the clickbait, people like the drama, people like the blow ups and the edited down videos.
Yeah, 100%.
I think everyone just needs to chill out. I think sit in front of the air conditioner for 10 minutes. I always feel much better after I do that. Lay on the floor if you nice linoleum or tile floor in the summer. Just spread out on that.
Cool down.
Just relax.
Also, shout out to my man Kyle Barber in Baltimore Beatdown. They just gave us a Twitch raid. So everybody coming over from Baltimore, shout out to you guys. Welcome to Underground Sports Philadelphia. But Matt Gelb wrote about the deadline. The Phillies will add a back end of the rotation starter. They are on the long list of teams interested in rotation help. Some will be more desperate than others. The Phillies will be without Zach Eflin for an undetermined period, and that should make them aggressive. The club has balked at current prices for number 4 or 5 starter types, but they know that it'll require something decent to surrender because in this market, demand outweighs supply. Other teams will make bigger splashes, but the Phillies are treading a more conservative path because winning the division is far-fetched now.
Yeah, because you're really only banking on a wild card, which isn't even a guarantee into the playoffs either. You still have to do your own work there. But Zach Eflin too, by the way, indeterminate amount of time for the last month, right? When was that injury? It's definitely
Been a while.
Definitely been maybe a month and a half that Zach Eflin has been out for
At least early July.
I feel like it might have been late June, really.
Yeah.
But that's a blow, right? That you're not good, because Zach Eflin isn't amazing, but he's a good third piece to have. So missing out on that is, I think, only showing, I think, the threadbare options that we have otherwise. So that's very frustrating. Yeah, I mean, you're competing with every other major contender who is kind of in need of the same things that the Phillies are. The Phillies' needs are not exclusive to them. I would say pretty much every contending team is looking to add another starting pitcher, and maybe even a good bat. They're certainly not in contention for the big stars,
right?
But yeah, I mean, are the Phillies outpaying the Dodgers? Probably not. Probably
and
not.
then Jason Stark was on radio today and said that the Phillies have basically said no on the following players, Matt.
Uh-oh.
Mick Abel, we're fine with that. Andrew Painter, we're good with that. Our guy Griff McGarry.
Right.
And Logan O'Hoppe.
O'Hoppe has not been on that list previously, so
that's in any deal so far, and he also says they've also been saying no to Ben Brown.
Okay.
Which is interesting because a lot of people thought that O'Hoppe would be
right.
if they were gonna go and make some sort of big splash, he'd be kind of the centralized piece.
That's your 2022 Untouchables.
Yes. In theaters this summer. Very interesting. I guess because there are two other catchers down in the minors, too, that they could use if they wanted to make a trade with Rafael Marchand and Donnie Sands.
I think, I can't remember where I was reading or listening to, but someone was talking about, too, a lot of the teams that are sellers in the market ironically have, good catching prospects. So, they're just, Hoppe isn't really, an attractive offer to them because, the catcher, too, is not a position typically people are going to really prioritize. It is definitely a premium position in the league.
And I think it also doesn't help that one of the big trade candidates this trade deadline is going to be Wilson Contreras.
Right. So I think it's kind of a tough spot for the Phils to be in.
Let's see here. Any updates on the trade deadline? Oh, yeah, and if I couldn't hate the Cardinals more, they're allegedly in talks for Juan Soto.
How? That's one of the... How? We can't let the Cardinals get Juan Soto. We just can't do that.
It would be cool if he went to, Seattle.
That would be very cool. No way is Seattle doing that, though.
Apparently, they're, in the mix, is what they're
shot.
calling it.
Listen,
they do have the prospect.
I love Seattle, and you know what? One of those teams, they've been through it, and I would love to see them have success. But there's a reason that team has had the playoff droughts that they've had. It's because they have just not gone over the line. It's shocking that they've let the team get to the point where it is now, where they're competitive. It's just historically not been a club that is figured it out. So.
And all I'm saying is if Dave Dombrowski can't fleece either the Tigers or Red Sox on pieces, we're doomed. The Tigers have openly said they're willing to listen to... They're literally blowing it up.
Yeah.
If we can't go get a Tariq Skubal or something like that who throws 98 and put him in this rotation, if we can't go and get a Nate Eovaldi from the Red Sox, there's a problem.
Eovaldi would be cool. How about Xander Bogaerts?
That'd be fun. I did see something that was interesting.
But Devers, I don't think they want to pay him.
I'll take Devers in a heartbeat. I think it was Alex Carr who brought this up on Twitter today that say Trey Turner is too expensive this offseason. Dansby Swanson's also a free agent.
Come on down.
Come on down, Lieutenant Dan.
Come on to that NL East incest.
Dansby Swanson and Bryson Stott up the middle would be kind of nice.
I'd talk to you.
Trey Turner would be also very nice.
Trey Turner would be very cool.
It's
Got to make the playoffs, though.
Got to make the playoffs. You got to make it enticing.
You can't go spend $27 million on some guy if you're
Right.
not. If you're going to be like, well, we haven't been in the playoffs in a decade, so.
Obviously, David Ortiz also got inducted into the Hall of Fame this past weekend, and the 2023 Hall of Fame ballots out, Matt. I think we start to make the campaign because he's eligible. Jason Worth to the Hall of Fame starts now.
No thanks.
Also love that Major League Baseball put him in a Phillies hat for the
That is
graphic.
hilarious.
That's supremacy right there. Because everybody knows his good years were with the Phils, not the Nationals. But yeah, he's eligible for the Hall of Fame. I think there's some other pretty big notable names that are eligible next year. So the 2023 Hall of Fame ballot first-timers are Carlos Beltran, Matt Cain, Jacoby Ellsbury, Andre Ethier, Jason Worth, Jared Weaver, Houston Street, Francisco Rodriguez, a.k.a. K-Rod, Mike Napoli, and John Lackey.
Matt Cain. Kind of forgot about Matt Cain.
I try to forget about it.
I'm like hearing the name, I'm like, God damn. Matt Cain. That guy. What did they put in the water in San Francisco to make their pitching so good for like that 5 years?
Cain.
Even
Lincecum.
now, honestly, like they still like they do like rehab projects there now,
Yeah.
where it's like Rodon goes there now. It's like, yeah, by the way, that like 2 years where I couldn't stay healthy, passed it.
Well, he's pitched the minimum number of innings that he had to hit, so he can opt out of his contract now, and he can be a free agent this offseason.
Hey man, you know who has a really good record at keeping guys healthy? It's the Philadelphia Phillies. Says a lot though that his minimum innings was like half a
It was
season.
110 innings he had to pitch.
Good gravy.
Unbelievable. I'm surprised. Like, the Giants are kind of falling out. It wouldn't surprise me if they try to like sell off some pieces.
No, not Gabe Kapler's team. He's so good. He's like the smartest guy in baseball. I totally want him to bang my wife. That's how people talk about Gabe Kapler. It's so weird.
Yes. I want to see because they were on.
Got Gabe Kapler, man. He knows how to get a team to 2 games under 500. I mean,
Yeah, they got swept by the Diamondbacks.
all right. So like, imagine that.
They're 48
Gabe Kapler leads the Phillies to a sweep by the Diamondbacks. You think people are cool with that? No.
Giants
No
just got
shot.
swept by the Diamondbacks.
We got swept by the Cubs, and it almost resulted in like half of the beat reporters
We got swept by the
being-
Cubs, and everybody declared summer over.
being excommunicated. Like, come on.
Everyone's like, "All right, summer's over. Football's here, boys." It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is a little hard to be gung ho about football when it's like 95 degrees.
Yeah, like I don't get that. Anytime I tweet that like I can't get hyped about football till like mid-September, you would think I like just called for the airstrikes or
This time
something.
of year just doesn't mean anything to me with football.
No.
It doesn't mean anything
At all.
There's reps. Everyone looks good. It's the same thing with like basketball in the offseason. Everyone looks good.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone looks sharp and healthy because they have like, of course, because they're not getting slammed into each other every week. Like, preseason football, easily the least I care about any preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Any preseason. And
Preseason football, training
teams don't
camp does
care.
nothing.
training camp just doesn't move the needle that much for me. The only thing I care about with training camp is like
The arrivals.
is the arrivals and like any injuries. That's it. That's all. That's all it is. It's just like who got hurt because every year, like 5 to 10 players, good players,
Yes.
get hurt in training camp. It's like, well, here we go. This is how it starts.
Yeah. This time, like, don't speed up summer on me.
No, like let's just enjoy it.
Like everybody
on.
like tries to declare summer over like August 1st, and it's like, can we stop?
August is Dom said this the other night. August is the Sunday of summer, and that's a bummer because he's so right.
Yeah. Although, it's felt like summer's kind of leaked into September if you're a normal human being for like the first like week and a half.
I mean, it's still hot for
Yeah.
sure, but it doesn't have the same feel.
Man. Yeah, just stop trying to speed up summer, you Koreans.
Right.
James Harden officially signed today, Matt.
Yeah, because we got the Daryl Morey highlight video. I
To
love that
confirm
that's
it.
like
That was Woj's confirmation.
I love that that's his bit.
Yes.
Is just posting like someone's nice game from the season before.
Woj quote tweeted that and said, Harden deal done. That was the Woj bomb, was from Daryl Morey. Harden's officially back. Tyrese Maxey is doing 3 workouts before 11 a.m. Sixers apparently had a dinner party last night with the boys. Vibes are great. Summer Sixers vibes are always great.
Are they? Because last summer, I felt very differently. I think around this time we were getting the Shelburne pieces about Ben telling them to not come visit him in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. I was listening to a podcast today, and someone compared Kyler Murray to Ben Simmons, and I can't unsee it. Like, it's so hard for me to separate those two people now. And what's hilarious is because when Kyler Murray was having these like contract disputes, there was definitely a lot of wish casting, I think, by some Eagles fan base to getting Kyler Murray to Philly. It's like, we just ran this exact person out of town, and like happily. Oh,
that hurts me. I'm such a big Kyler guy.
I love him too, but then I love Kyler more from like a fantasy perspective.
Yeah.
He's like a quarter, like I've just taken every year, but he's burned me a lot in fantasy. Talking about though, like, so I don't know if you saw the contract leak.
Yeah.
About he stipulated to do 4 hours weekly without playing Xbox, without being on his phone, which is just a bizarre thing to put in a contract. That does not speak highly. And there's a lot of stuff about how it's all rumors and unsubstantiated. So who really knows, right? But
Right.
I will say, if you're talking body language, if you're talking just like optics, the dude does look very often to be a finger pointer and a throw in the towel
Sulker.
type. Yeah, like he has that sulk in him a little bit. And I don't know that that's the best.
That body language had me thinking when I saw that happen, what other athletes, whether it's football or not, would also have that language in their contract?
It's just someone who like is just so clearly just naturally gifted that there's just like, and I think that's a little bit with Kyler where it's just like he talks about like I don't really focus on that. I don't need to watch film because I'm just naturally gifted. But it would definitely help if you did, I think. Like Aaron Rodgers. No, I'm just kidding. For all his faults, Aaron Rodgers seems to be like, he at least like works.
Yeah.
Like, he
Shows up like Nick Cage.
Maybe it's like you can only come back with one very weird, ambiguous tattoo every season. Like,
I think I have
you got to keep the clay eating to like 6 ounces a week because any more than that,
one crystal at the dinner table.
Yeah, one crystal. No tarot cards in the locker room, please. It's weirding people out.
One trip with Miles Teller per year.
Yeah.
I don't know why this just popped in my head, but I feel like Travis Konechny could have that clause in his contract.
Yeah, he seems a little spacey.
Trying to think of anybody else.
I don't think the Flyers exist anymore, though.
Yeah, I don't. I try not to acknowledge them. Trying to think of any other just athletes that give off that. I mean, Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving probably. Yeah. It's Ben Simmons. It's just someone said, I was like, wow. I actually can't unsee that now. Man. I can't unsee the comparison. Two dudes are just like clearly gifted, never lost in their life, and then just I don't know what it is. It's just something with them. Something with them busted.
Damn. Kyler Simmons.
Ben Murray. I think I like Ben Murray more. Two opposite ends of the spectrum height-wise as well.
Yeah. Also, the Atlanta Hawks Twitter account committed just like full-blown assault on Philadelphia today because they tweeted what kind of content do you guys want to see today? And somebody said playoff bogey, tweeted the 3-pointer that was like the nail in the coffin in the game. The Sixers should have won before the Ben Simmons game in the playoffs, and had to promptly mute the Hawks on Twitter. Only reason I saw this because the Hawks followed me first on Twitter, so I felt inclined that I had to follow back. But that was painful. The other bit of news that I saw today that was very intriguing was the Eagles players just continuing to denounce that Derek Gunn report that Jalen Hurts was struggling in OTAs. Jalen Hurts flat out said must have been a slow news day.
That's the thing too, is like training camp and stuff.
It's all clickbait.
Every little thing is like massive news because there just isn't that much. Everything is conflated into like just wait. Okay, perfect example. Last offseason, Jamar Chase is like dropping balls at practice, and it's like, wow, this guy is just gonna absolutely fall on his ass.
Man, shouldn't have taken that year off.
And then just has probably, I don't know the numbers, like I'll tell you, what if not the best, one of the the top rookie seasons ever. And it's like goes to the Super Bowl, like, come on. I mean,
has a whole GQ write up now.
That was the needle. That was the nail in the coffin for me of like preseason narratives and stuff. It's like, God Almighty, like they got it so not just wrong, so wrong. Like the 49ers last year. Oh, Trey Sermon. Dude didn't see the field. Brandon Ayuk is really going to make it literally in the doghouse. Yep. The whole seat. Like, it just, come on. What are we doing?
The Eagles released their black helmets.
What is the deal in the NFL this year with everyone like...
This is the first year that the NFL has allowed teams to have multiple helmets. Yeah. In years past, you could only have one colorway for your helmet, because that's all the NFL would like order for player safety wise. But now they're allowing different helmets and everything. So the Eagles will be wearing black helmets with their blackout uniforms this year. The Bears are wearing a god-awful orange helmet, an orange uniform this year. The Cardinals' black helmet is back. Obviously, the Bengals have their whiteout uniform, which I think looks gorgeous. So nice. The Texans are wearing a red helmet this year. Whole bunch of new uni combos in the NFL, which, again, like you said, let's have fun. Let's wear different shit. The black helmet looks sweet, though, for the Eagles. I'm very excited to see that.
I agree. I'm into it.
Need more of that kind of shit. Like, everybody getting hyped about the Kelly Green stuff is all well and good. I've been saying for the past 2 years that every team should have their throwback uniform on display if they're playing on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Dive right into the Throwback Thursday stuff, and every team should be wearing their throwback uniforms on Thursday Night Football. It makes the most sense, gives that nostalgia feel. It's a primetime game. Every team should be doing that.
I agree. Very much agree.
Did you see the Giants are also like the one team everyone's talking about Jimmy Garoppolo for?
Yeah, I think Jimmy G is going to be the Sam Bradford, where it's just wait till there's an injury and just really, really get someone over the barrel. And like, I'm not that I think they're hoping that someone key gets injured, but you kind of, in the back of their minds, they're hoping it's like a team that has playoff hopes, that has like ambition. Because then it's like, all right, how much is a Jimmy G worth to you? He's worth nothing to us.
Right.
I mean, we hate this
trade team. The Union keep getting at it, Matt.
They do. I think it's 4 straight wins.
Just doing the damn thing. Like we've been saying, first place. You should be on board with this team.
Yes. They're
back at home July 30th against Houston. They just tweeted a hilarious like Pokemon Team Rocket combo video highlight, which is amazing.
They do good stuff there.
They're damn good. They're damn good. We've been trying to tell you for quite some time that you should be on board with this team.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't gotten on board yet, I don't know what you're doing.
Super easy to watch, too, by the way.
Yes.
Everything is free. Go on the Union. I do it nearly every game. The national games, you got to, figure out a way. If you're like me, you don't have ESPN. But you go on the Union website, literally type in Philadelphia Union live stream. It'll take you right there for free. Easy.
If you still have cable, it's PHL 17.
Smooth.
They're only 3 points behind LAFC for that Supporter Shield.
And tell you what, though, LAFC not making it easy on the boys. Not making it easy on the boys. They lighten up a little bit, but Supporter Shield would be nice. All about, I think, making a run in the playoffs this year, though. I think that's really where. It's almost like the reverse Phillies right now, though, where maybe this year they'll make it to the final and lose, and then next year, like where the Phillies from the World Series went World Series, NLCS, NLDS, like maybe we're gonna have to go through some more pain to get to the end, but because that's the way the Union have been trending. But great team, a lot of fun to watch.
They're super fun. They're super likable. And like you said, they're like the race. They know how to find talent.
They are. It's so funny. With we complain all the time, especially with the Phillies, that we can't identify talent. We don't have this good pipeline stuff. It's like, we can't work within a budget. And the Union just do it over and over again. They know how to get guys out the door at the right time, and they do some damn good work. Did you see? We were talking about arrivals too with training camp. Did you see AJ Brown's hat that he wore? Did not.
Nice little Hurts season.
Some good pandering.
Nick Sirianni back in the Jalen Hurts T-shirt as well. Also, did you see? Our government has apparently found the NBA trade machine. Trying to bring Brittany Griner home.
I did. Okay, yeah.
I figured we'd talk about this as well because wild shit.
I mean, just a bizarre story. Yeah, I saw a tweet. It was like, why am I getting notifications about like this? Like it's a trade, like happening. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Apparently, trying to 2-for-1 it as well. Bring somebody else home.
Well, that's just not good value. You got to get some future compensation in there.
I don't know. Draft picks were involved.
No. I think cash considerations maybe, but
apparently the trial is supposed to end on Friday with everything still kind of up in the air. But it is insane how long it's taken to get this situation underway. It's been since like February, I think.
Unreal.
But yeah, I saw that. It was like, yeah, we're willing to offer, Russian arms dealer for Brittany Griner and another U.S. captive. Which just makes you think, too, like, how many people across the world are in captivity in different countries that you just don't know about?
More than you would ever want to know and could ever believe. Can't really go down that road because, we could go down a whole path with just who the U.S. has locked up, rightly or wrongly. I know there's a few people, which Guantanamo Bay is still open, by the way, somehow, even though like our last 4 presidents have promised to close it. There's guys in there that come like 100% innocent, where they just happen to have the same name as someone else or slightly the same name as someone else, and just locked up forever. It's an evil world we live in.
Underground Sports Philadelphia History Podcast coming to you this fall.
Just telling you what it is.
Yeah,
we're like the Ringer. We're gonna have Ryan Russillo talk to us about Benjamin Franklin. Can't think of anyone I want to hear from less about Benjamin Franklin and patriotism than Ryan Russillo. I'm not gonna say he's the most unqualified person either, because I'm sure there's a lot of less unqualified people, but gotta be honest.
Low on the...
I thought it was one of those like fake mock-ups that you see on Twitter sometimes where it's like... And I had to look, I was like, okay. I have yet to listen to it. I probably should before I judge it too harshly, but I'm trying to imagine Ryan Russillo and the Russillo voice like, Franklin's doing his Franklin stuff. And really the join or die thing. No one ever talks about this, but the join or die thing was all about because they believed back then. No one talks about this, and I've been saying it, but they believed that snakes, if you rejoin them before nightfall, it would come back together. That was a superstition. That's right. That's my Ryan Russillo, Benjamin Franklin bit.
Unreal.
Good stuff right there.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, watch the Union.
Get into the Union.
Get into them.
Get into a Union if you can.
And stop trying to rush summer. It's really not that bad.
Summer is, again, as I've gotten older, truly just the best season by far.
100%.
I mean, fall is great, probably the best weather, but summer's just nothing beats it. Sorry to say. Sorry for all you winter lovers out there, but shit is awful.
Yeah. I mean, I was at work the other day, and some lady said she can't wait for summer to be over. She never liked summer, can't wait for winter. And I said, you are a psychopath.
That's wild shit right there.
Anything else that's popped up here in the last bit of time we have? Don't see too much. Oh, last bit of news. This will tap into your childhood, Matt. WrestleMania is coming to Philly in 2024.
Great.
At the link.
God. See, I was never a pay-per-view kid because there's no way I was convincing my parents to spend $70 to watch wrestling. But they would like do the build-up for the events in the show, like before the big weekend, whatever it was, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, whatever. And then like I wouldn't know what happened because it was also like
pre-internet.
It was like internet, but like not the best.
In the palm of your hands.
It was like it was not the best version of the internet, that's for sure. It wasn't the worst, but it was it was the internet's teenage years where it was uncomfortable and awkward and had a lot of zits. Like it was just like no one liked looking at it really yet. And it hasn't gotten to the point now where it's like in its late 20s and it's like obsessive and creepy and knows everything about you and way too much. But I always hated it because I would never know who won, and then they would talk about it the week after, like who won and all this stuff. I was like, well, I didn't get to see it, so I guess that's good. I don't know. Listen, to each their own. If you're into wrestling, good for you. Just not for me.
Yeah.
After like 12 years old, I was like, yeah, I'm good actually. Good for life. I don't ever need to watch this again. I'm good.
Oh,
good on that. Somehow I've muted wrestling on my timeline. It's one of the very few words that I've muted, and yet I still get all the time like wrestling stuff recommended to me, and I don't understand it.
The only wrestling I even remotely pay attention to is anything with Pat McAfee.
Yeah. Well, I know Vince McMahon just got ushered out.
Yes.
But
Triple H taking
over. I learned that against my will, though. Like I did not choose to actually like seek out that. I would have no idea if I didn't open my Twitter app and people weren't like talking about it on some podcast somewhere. And I'm like, how am I getting this? How am I?
Triple H Philly adjacent.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about the last time Triple H was in Philly, because that was
embarrassing.
Talk about sad boy summer.
Unreal. But yeah, we have a big announcement on the Getting the Whole podcast coming next week, if not a little sooner. So stay tuned for that. And of course, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI on Twitter and Instagram. Check out our pinned tweet for our giveaway of the Wolverine number 22 Brian Dawkins variant cover. It's our pinned tweet at Underground PHI. Go enter that giveaway. Winner announced on August 8th. Follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Castorina. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com. Of course, subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, where you get full video episodes of all of the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcasts and original content as well. Big thank you to our sponsors, Main Auto LLC, Ducharme's Pro Foot, Security 21 Security Systems, Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated, Mark Ronchetti CPA LLC, the Dental Wellness Center of Vineland, Tomahawk Shades, Pickup, Kenwood Beer, and Bino Board. All of their information is linked in the show notes on audio and in the description on YouTube. But this has been Underground Sports Philadelphia, episode number 450. We'll be back next week with whatever the hell is going on with the Phils. We'll be breaking down the trade deadline next week and all the moves that the Phillies made or did not make. But until then, for Matt, I'm KB. We are signing off. Peace.